As a science fiction fan, the Metroid Prime series is actually one of my favorite video game series. Very inspirational to me. I love the character, and of course, I love everything that has to do with Metroid since the beginning. I've been playing it since the NES days, my friends. And the new Metroid Prime 4 is getting mixed reviews because it doesn't feel like a Metroid Prime game. It really doesn't. It feels like something completely different. They're adding in these like Tron motorcycle races and all sorts of things. And the writing, critics and fans are saying, is MCU tier, which is not good for this. So what's happening with this? Well, I have an article by a great friend who is writing for our Fandom Pulse Substack who explains this phenomenon and why these companies go for not us as the fans. It's kind of an odd thing, but it seems to happen across culture. And it's happening here with Nintendo now as well, as I think Nintendo's entering a different phase in what they're doing. So let's get into this as we cover all things in the science fiction news. Thank you guys for being here. Please hit the like and subscribe button, and do sign up for my newsletter in the description below. You can get a science fiction book, a fantasy book, and a full superhero graphic novel. Stay in touch with me. It's the first link in the description. Thank you guys for signing up there. And gosh, we had a huge November with over 1,000 new people signing up. So thank you for reading. We really appreciate you being here. And maybe one day they'll have me write one of these games so there's not a problem. Now, my character Ayla Rin is largely, inspired by the Metroid Prime games. It really is. And you can see that there are some problems going on here. Some people just like it, absolutely underrated by reviews. The game's good, blah, blah, blah. But look at this. This person gave it a 5 and said, let me preface this saying as a Metroid game, it's a 3 out of 10. Easily the worst Metroid franchise game containing Samus. Horrible writing that does not make sense for Samus, but also MCU tier. Also manages to be other M, but worse in this aspect. Trailers are complete bait and switch, makes the writing even more egregious because they knew it was bad. Even scan for descriptions are poorly written, less useful information on relevant things, far less interesting on the lore, and even monster descriptions are lame. The visuals are good, but a bit dated. There you go. And video games players, the real gamers, don't play games for the visuals as much as some channels out there. That's all they care about, that we do not over here, because it's all about the gameplay. Now, this is the deal. Metroid Prime fans are not the intended audience, and that's the deal. So many Metroid fans who have long since become accustomed to isolation, alien environments of a past era, are in recent days feeling very, very displaced. Hold on to that feeling as it's becoming more and more common among older gamers, particularly the millennial generation who grew up playing the most of the original games that got the ball rolling for these franchises in the first place. The current realization is one that I've become aware of over the last 2 decades. Continuing franchises are not made to appeal to the audiences that popularized them in the first place. Our modern media is a dystopia. Look in the mirror, Metroid fan, repeat the following: I am not the intended audience. I am irrelevant. And do this until the realization sets in. You're confused about why beloved IPs like Metroid are being distorted in ways that do not befit them. Also, let me make this clear. Fidelity to tradition is no longer a metric. Mass market appeal is. You are not the mass market. These developers do not care what you think, much like what you used to love. And this is something that really applies to every science fiction juggernaut out there. Obviously, I'm a big Star Trek fan. We've seen what they've done with it. I know there's a lot of Star Wars fans out there. It's very similar. We're seeing the same thing happen with Warhammer 40K. This is across the board with these franchises. If you're not consuming the soy, you might as well not exist. Your reality is, and why so many fanboys have capitulated and gone out to defend Nintendo. Commodification and the lowest common denominator. Nintendo does not act for fans, even as it's primarily for its critics. The number critics assign is only a matter as far as a ritual is concerned. But Nintendo acts for itself and an imagined audience it wishes to manufacture. The future Metroid fans who never experienced the series in its heyday. So if you or any pre-established fans have rejected Metroid Prime 4, know that does not matter to Nintendo. As long as the average normie consumer accepts it and consumes it, Nintendo considers that a win. Their wager is simple, that all voices of custodians will be drowned out, that the shills will be loud enough, the critics safe enough, the consumers blind enough that Metroid's heritage can be erased without any consequences. Each future release will be a gamble. Nintendo bets that appealing to those who do not care about tradition will be more profitable in Fidelity than those who do. They hope complaints will be stifled, silenced, and covered up. They hope that the average consumer will remain deaf and blind, buying the product regardless. And this seems to be the case. This is Predator Badlands, exactly. Same thing. We had the same sort of deal where they made like a Disney Star Wars movie, but just slapped slap Predator skin on it, right? Nintendo, like Disney, does not wish to rely on its established fan base to sustain itself. Instead, they seek to cater to the lowest common denominator, consumers whose interest in games is unnuanced and wholly shaped by advertising. These consumers play what's marketed to them, attaining what's fashionable or popular in the moment, and that's it. Therefore, Metroid has to be turned into something more simplified or dumbed down or digestible. Side characters have been inserted to explain what was once needed no explanation. A Federation soldier exclaims, "Wow, it's Seamus," while another points out the morph ball. This all exists to the average normie, so the gamer will know what's important. What was once discovered at length through haunting atmosphere is now marred by incessant narration and exposition. For fans capable of critical thought, this is definitely frustrating. They see a dilution and betrayal of tradition, yet they should realize their greatest enemy in this regard is not Nintendo, but Nintendo's defenders. Nintendo has many shills and white knights who do, to this day, insist everything being vomited out by their favorite multinational video game company is good and wholesome, and they will defend Nintendo to the bitter end, even when they know the truth and recognize this is not good. I've been subject to a lot of attacks from Nintendo shills on this channel, for example, but we try to have like a smarter discussion about science fiction here, something a little higher than the average YouTube IQ. That's why we have a great community here that's a way beyond what a lot of the other YouTubers have, of course. Now, fan-based consumerism is a replacement religion. This is what it comes down to. The reason Nintendo shills will never back down, therefore contributing to worsening of all of its franchises, is because the value of these franchises have shifted from the products to the fans themselves. Brand name loyalty is a modern-day spiritual practice. It's a liturgy that shapes our hearts and minds. The market is no longer simply providing goods and services, it provides meaning. It offers counterfeit communion for people who are bereft of community, binding individuals together in not a shared tradition, but common consumption. This is the logic at work in fanboyism. To be a Nintendo fanboy doesn't mean you enjoy Nintendo games, it means you're participating in a ritual of loyalty where the corporation becomes the object of your devotion. The identity is built within it and subjected to branding. It's a terrible thing about our culture. Now, even why a fanboy would stand by these franchises when they're desecrated, and the word is detachment. In the modern market, consumption is not about communion or rootedness, it's about constant displacement, objects without origin, desire without satisfaction, communion replaced by isolation. And we see this, right? I mean, the consume soy jack meme is really an example of this, and this is exactly what we have going on with Metroid Prime 4 right now. So this is really sad, what they've done to this franchise, what they've done to this right here, all in the name of just like making a game more generic and less what made it originally interesting to begin with. Now it's just like this like really generic sort of shooter thing that has like this Disney Marvel sort of look to it. You look at the environment here. It looks like Avatar, James Cameron's movie that's going to be coming out soon. Oh my gosh, don't get me started on that because we could go off for hours. But it's not looking good for Nintendo and what's happening here. Very, very sad to see that they fall into this state. And if you look at the new Mario Kart, it's much the same thing, right? Most Mario Kart fans are not actually loving this, just like they're not loving this either, right? We'll see what happens in this. Have you played this game yet? Let me know down in the comments down below. Hit the like, subscribe button. Love to hear from you, and we'll be back soon.